everybody, this is Sai for Rizal. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you something that I've been brainstorming for quite some time. And this is really interesting stuff because, you know, I've been procrastinating a lot for the past few days. In fact, for the past few weeks, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But I'm just going to share with you something that might just help you to end your procrastination if you're procrastinating right now. So what we have right here is my my whiteboard. Okay, so this is my whiteboard, and the title here is why you're procrastinating and how to end it. Why you're procrastinating and how to end it. So naturally, what we're going to do is we are going to define what procrastination is. So what procrastination is the failure to start as well as the failure to finish. Okay, so those are the two forms of procrastination: failure to start and failure to finish. Now, why are you procrastinating? Well, I realized that at the end of the day, it's about emotions. You know, there's actually three parts of your brain, right? We have our physical brain, we have our emotional brain, and we also have our intellectual brain. Now, a lot of times people think that in the intellectual brain, the logical side of ourselves can actually override the emotional and the physical brain, which is actually not true, right? As you find yourself, emotions will always override your decisions, and as a result, your actions, which is your physical results, will change because of that. As Tony Robbins says, it is in your moments of decisions that your destiny is shaped, and how you decide is mostly by emotions. If you're not human, if you're human, you're going to decide by emotions. That is it, period. Alright, so let's get back. So why emotions? So I realized that there are a few dominant emotions. Number one is fear. Number two is fulfillment. Number three is wanting to feel instant gratification. And number four is to have open loops, to be stressed. So let's talk about fear here right now. Okay, so fear can come in the form of lack of confidence, right? And is because of the inability to achieve a desired result. Well, at least you think that you are unable to achieve a desired result because it is too big a result for you. Okay, so many times what we do is, for instance, if I want to make $100,000 this year, I want to think something like, I tend to think something like, okay, I want to hit $10,000 in the first 3 months, but that's gonna make it worse, actually. So what you're gonna do is you can actually do this. You can just say, okay, I want to make $1,000 in the first month, and then you reach that goal first. You make them smaller, and you move on to the next one. Then you say, I want to make $3,000, and as a result of momentum, what happens is that your goals are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so as a result, what's going to happen is, at the end of the day, you're still going to get that $100,000, but it will be an exponential increase. Alright, so let's move on. So the next one is fulfillment. Now that is actually the wheel of life, as Tony Robbins calls it. So Tony Robbins says that there are a few dominant areas of our life that we need to fulfill. For instance, emotionally. We need to fulfill ourselves spiritually, physically, in terms of contribution, in terms of there's many other things, emotionally, relationships-wise, and all that kind of stuff. If you are not fulfilled in any area of your life, what happens is you tend to procrastinate. Whenever you procrastinate, guess what? You tend to do the things that you are not fulfilled about. All right. For instance, if I tend to do this. Okay. If I'm procrastinating, what I do is normally I go out. I go actually have some fun with my friends, and that's because I'm not fulfilled in the area of relationships and friendships, right? So it's something like that. So choose to understand what values, what you value the most, and then what we're going to do is we're going to fulfill that on a daily basis so that you don't have any unfulfilled areas of your life, all right? Now, instant gratification. Instant gratification, of course, is a big problem in our society right now, and you got to realize that Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day, alright? And as a result, what you want to do, when you are trying to conquer everything in one day, there are too many things to do at one go, right? There's too many things to do at one go. As a result, you don't get to doing it, right? You say, I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And lastly, we have open loops. Open loops. Now, open loops is something like this, alright? So you start something, right? You start something. For instance, I want to write a book. So I start a chapter. And then I had this inspiration to write another chapter. I had the inspiration for a beginning of a new chapter, and I began to do that. But I have this open loop because I have not finished that first chapter, but I've moved on to the next one. As a result, I have this open loop, and I've always been thinking about this first chapter. When am I going to end it? Where am I going to end it? Where am I going to end it? As a result, you have a lot of stress. Alright, you have a lot of stress. And how you close the loop is by finishing the first one first. So someone will say something like, so what do I do with the idea? Well, simply do this. Just jot it down and finish that first chapter. Alright, simple as that. Okay, now that we have covered why, let's cover the how to end it. Okay, so this is in green, I hope you can see this. How, alright? So let's move on to fear first. Okay, so fear. Okay, like I said, you want to make your goal smaller so that you can get some momentum. I like to be redundant here. I'm very redundant. So make your goal smaller and get some momentum so that you can move on and achieve better stuff. Alright, now fear. You can also use, what you can do is to raise your vibration. When I say raise your vibration, I'm talking about the level of energy that you have. Let's say that is something like a thought thermostat, as T. Harv Eker calls it, right? So you have to raise your vibration to believe that you are able to reach such a big goal, right? Such a big goal. So how you do that is you can make your goal more compelling, right? You gotta make your goal more compelling, as Tony Robbins says, so that you don't push yourself towards it. You're actually sucked into that goal, all right? And you take action because you know that it's fun and you want to reach that goal. It's so big that you really want to reach that goal and you would do anything, I mean anything, to reach it, all right? So let's move on to the next one.